place without limits or judgment. A place for you and people like you to tell your most effed up stories. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Effed Up Stories. I'm your host, Will Pender.
And I am your co-host, Ryan Sharp.
And tonight, we have something I didn't think we could get. But, if you remember our podcast back with Jason Haxton, there was a point there where we said there could possibly be more than one Dibbuk Box. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that seems to be the case. And tonight, our guest just might have one of them. Now, before we jump into that, just a couple of notes like we always have. If you have any paranormal stories, videos, pictures, whatever, send it to us. It gets on our show, it gets in our podcast, it lets us give you more content. So if you have that, go to the official site at effedupstories.com. That's effedupstories.com. Go to the menu, submissions, submit your stuff. And I should mention that we're planning on releasing a book in the not too distant future. So now's a really good time to submit your stories because we're taking our favorite stories and putting them in the book. So with that said, our guest for tonight, in 98, she moved to a house and had some strange stuff over the years. And a couple of months ago, she finds a box. This box has strange writing on it, which we have determined to be of Hebrew, Greek, and I thought Latin. I could be wrong. But I have passed this on to Jason Haxton. I mean, he confirmed some of it. And I mean, her experiences with this box is very similar to Jason Haxton's story. So do we have a second Dibbuk Box? Well, it's up to you to decide. With that said, hello, Ari, and welcome to the Effed Up Story Show.
Hi.
So, as I mentioned there before, this all started months ago. You had sent me an email with a picture of your, the box that we're going to be talking about tonight, which is strange. It's a strange box. And, for those of you who remember us doing a podcast with Jason Haxton on his infamous Dibbuk Box, you might recall that it was believed that there may be more than one. And, that is essentially what I believe Ari has right now. I believe she has another box. So, Ari, when you found this box, I mean, you found it in your home that you moved into in 98, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you describe the box for our audience?
Sure. It's a wooden box. It's I would say like a beige in color. It's very dusty. It has wax all around it. And where the lock is.
So the box is sealed with wax?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
And it also has some writing on it.
Now, this writing that's on it, this is... Now, you sent me the pictures, and I sent it off to Jason Haxton, because it looks very, very strange. And for those of you listening, you can actually see the pictures on the official website under the pictures section. The writing on it, I sent it to Jason Haxton, and he said he believed it to be both Greek and Latin symbols on there. And the seal, of course, that you're talking about, the wax seal, it doesn't just go over the latch, but the entire crease of where the box would open itself, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it was 98 when you moved into your... so you're living in the house right now where you found the box, right?
Yes.
And that was 98. So did you find the box right away, or was this something that you stumbled into later on?
No, this was a couple of months ago.
Okay, so you've been living there all this time, and just, I guess, was life normal? Did you have any strange things happen, or was it just, ever since you found the box?
As soon as we moved in, there was a couple of, it was just weird things that would happen. And we tried to play it off as, it's a new house. It's going to have noises. We just have to get used to it. But as time went on, it just got worse and worse.
Okay. Can you describe any of the initial, the initial phenomenon that you experienced in the house?
Sure. Sometimes our things would get lost. Or they would get misplaced, and then we would blame each other, but nobody took it. And then later, we would find it. We would see, like black shadows, and they were coming. It is so weird. Like, it's like if you were walking, but, you turn around and nobody's there.
Yeah.
Like they would just disappear.
Now, were these shadows, were they shaped like people or just general black shadows?
Kinda like people, but I would call it more like a mass.
Okay. Now, how many of you...
You said... Oh, I'm sorry. When you said that these objects would go missing, now when you found them, would they be found in, somewhere where you would normally leave them, in a location where they'd be used, or were they in odd locations?
They were in odd locations.
Do you have any examples of that?
Did it cut out? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Do you have any examples of some of the strange disappearances that may have turned up? Hairbrushes in the microwave, anything like that?
Well, like the car keys, we would look all over. We'd turn the house upside down and nothing. And we were gonna make some dinner, and we opened the oven, and the car keys are there.
Yeah, that's something that you wouldn't accidentally do.
It kind of reminds me of Skinwalker Ranch a little bit, where the groceries would be found and stuffed into a I don't know, crawl space somewhere, or our hairbrush would go missing and turn up in the oven or in the microwave or something like that. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ari, how many of you live in that house right now?
Right now, it's just 5 of us.
And do you all experience this strange phenomenon?
Yes, to the point where sometimes we just have to go. Like, we can't stay here.
Did the activity get much worse after you found the box?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now when you emailed me, you mentioned that when you're near the box, you can smell the scent of roses, and when you move it, and when you move it, you can hear objects like moving around inside the box. Now, I remember you had something in brackets in there, like they move on their own or something. Like, what did it sound like was moving inside the box when you put your ear up to it?
It kind of sounds like a coin, maybe. It kind of has like that metal, that type of thing.
So does it move when you're like holding the box still? Like, does it sound like it's moving then?
It's kind of like very gentle, kind of like a vibration.
Okay, so you can have the box laid still and put your ear to it and hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you first found this box, like we all would, I guess, who's interested in the paranormal, I mean, it was a cool thing. You could have your friends over, you kind of get scared, but it's kind of neat. But this escalated, though. I mean, this got to the point where you could no longer control it. And, you said that you'd wake up with bruises and scratches. Did this ever happen to the company that you'd have over to check out the box?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What were their thoughts on that?
They don't want to come back anymore. They don't even want to talk to me anymore.
Wow, really that strong. So did they ever, elaborate on that? Like, was it just the scratches and bruises, or did anything beyond that happen to them?
That they were having nightmares, and that they were really bad, and, that they just wanted to forget about it.
Okay, so, and they had a strong, I guess, sense that it came from the box.
Yes, mm-hmm.
So when this, got worse, like it had, you asked your neighbor about the people who lived in your house before you, and there was apparently a woman who was into black magic that used to live there. Mm-hmm. What details did your neighbor give you on this? Like, did she elaborate on why she thought she was into black magic or things that she had witnessed?
She just told me that a lot of people would come and go, and that she would hear like a chant, like over and over, and this was like late at night.
Okay.
And that it was just weird that she just didn't like the vibe that she got from her.
So this person, the one that was into black magic, was she, did your neighbor say like, okay, well, she lived there and then a lot of people came in after her and left?
No. All I know is the first owner of the house was a man, and it got to the point where he was older and, he couldn't take care of himself. So he had to sell the house, and then she moved in, and she was here the longest. And then after she left, then we moved in.
Okay. So you said when you hold the box, you feel anxious and that you pace back and forth and that your hands felt hot and began to shake. You placed the box in the, and after this happened, you said you placed the box in the closet and you just went to sleep.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, your sister came home and she tried to wake you up, and she had so much trouble trying to wake you up that she almost called an ambulance. So,
yes, that's correct.
So, I mean, this sounds to me like, I guess after holding the box, it was like it drained you of your energy. I mean, would you just...
Right.
Okay, so...
Yes, I would.
So after holding the box, it drained your energy. Did it seem strange to you at all that you suddenly felt tired?
It was strange. To me, I just want to know more about it. I want to see what's inside, not as far as open the box, but, if somebody is in there, I want to be able to help, so that the spirit could move on and we could all leave in peace,
So you do feel that there is a spirit attached to the box?
I'm hoping it's a spirit and not anything more than that.
Okay. Now, one thing that Jason Haxton reported that was pretty prevalent with his box was that it had a tendency to attract insects, and sometimes he would place it in an area, and mold would grow around the area. Do you have anything like that? Insects or any kind of a mold that seems to be attracted to your box?
There's only been one time, and it was the first time that I found it. I cleaned it up, and there was like a worm that came out of it, kind of, but at the same time, I didn't get it because it's all sealed up.
That is strange.
But the worm appeared to come out of the wax seal, or?
I looked at the box and I see a worm there near it, and I hate worms. I don't like bugs or anything, so I just screamed and I left.
So that night that you got really tired, you went to sleep, and your sister had trouble waking you up. Did you experience like a nightmare at that time? Like, what was your mood like when you woke up?
I was just crying.
So
I didn't understand why. I was just crying and I was scared.
So it was almost like just an overwhelming sensation of fear?
Yes. Like, I didn't know what to do, or I didn't know anything. I just wanted to cry. I was scared.
Okay. Now, you told your mom about the box, and she wanted you to burn it. And
yeah.
And which, by the way, I don't think it's a good idea to do that or destroy the box. But going back to your mom's section of the story here, I mean, she brought the box to her church, and they wanted nothing to do with it, right? And they in fact told her to burn it.
Yes.
Did they ever explain to her, why they were so aggressive with that? Like, did they know what the box was, or did they sense it? Like, I mean, that's a pretty powerful, aggressive way to come at somebody, like, burn the box, right? So, did they ever did they elaborate why they thought that?
They said that it shouldn't exist in this world, and it would be better off if it was burned.
Okay, so that's interesting. So they didn't elaborate on why they thought that, or why, what the box was. Because, I mean, even at this point in time, I mean, you're still trying to figure out what this thing is.
Yes.
Now, when your mom, she actually did try to burn it, right?
Yes, she did.
Now, she was staying with your kids one day, and she kept hearing this dragging noise. And she followed the noise to find the box in a closet somewhere, and she tried to burn the box several times, but it wouldn't burn. And then she took the box and threw it as hard as she could at the concrete floor in the basement, I believe.
Yes, correct.
And as soon as she did that, she felt sick to her stomach and threw up.
Yes.
And after all of this, the box was still fine. So what did your mom make of that?
She wants nothing to do with it. She doesn't want to hear about it. She wants nothing to do with it.
She's just scared of it now.
Yeah.
So getting back to the box here, I mean, you mentioned since getting it, like, so I guess this would be the 3 months or however many months ago it was that you came across it, that you felt sluggish, and that your cat of 6 years, she won't let you handy to her. She just hisses. Now, this gets even more interesting and a little bit scary when you take your experience, that you had at your mirror. You said you were brushing your teeth, and that you noted that suddenly you looked like a different person.
Yeah.
So you had long black hair. Well, this is the reflection now. You had long black hair, jagged teeth, and a yellowish tone to your skin.
Yeah.
So does this doesn't look anything like you, I take it? It's a...
No.
Oh, okay. So this person that you saw, do you think this may be a spirit that is possessing you or the box? Or, it sounds almost like whatever this thing is, she's associated, or it is associated with the box. And it sounds like it's kind of got its hooks into you, right? I mean, you're feeling drained, you're feeling sluggish, and now, like, you look in the mirror, you're seeing a different person. It almost sounds like, it may have, I don't know if it's just influencing influencing you to cause hallucinations, or if it's kind of gotten into you a little bit, like it's working on you. I mean, what do you think of that?
I was just scared. I don't know if she's trying to get my attention, maybe. It's just a scary thing, to look up and you're not yourself.
Well, what was going through your mind when you looked at your reflection and it was not you?
I just wanted to know where I was. It sounds weird, but like I felt me, but that was not me.
Did your family or friends ever notice any moments where you seemed like you weren't yourself, or where you may have done things out of the ordinary, or just that you weren't yourself?
No. They've been telling me that I need to get out more, but other than that, I've been okay.
Okay. So these nightmares that you've been having since finding the box, now I would have guessed that is your whole family having these dreams as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are they reoccurring themes? Like, are you having similar dreams, or are they all different?
Yeah, for me, it's the same. It's the same two.
Can you describe?
Two dreams.
Can you describe them?
Sure. I'm laying in bed, and all of a sudden, I feel like a weight, kind of like if somebody were to be getting on top of me. And at this time, I open my eyes, and I'm just so scared. I cannot see who's on top of me, but I feel them, and I know that they're bad. So I try to scream, and when I open my mouth, it's kind of like this mass that wants to get in my mouth, and so I shut my mouth because I think that whatever this thing is trying to get inside of me.
To me,
and I don't want that to happen, so I just, I freeze.
So that's one dream, right? One of the two. What's the other one?
The other one, I'm in the house and I can't find nobody. Like, I hear them, like, I hear the voices of my kids, my friends, but nobody's here. And all of a sudden, I just feel like I'm crying. I don't feel like myself. I kind of feel like I just want to die,
Yeah. Well, the first dream, to me, sounds... Now, have you ever heard of the hag?
No.
Well, some people actually... I don't know how common it is, but...
It's actually very prevalent all across the world.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just didn't want to, exactly label it and be wrong. but a lot of people have these, what they refer to as the old hag dreams. And, while they're asleep, it feels like there's, and this is between waking up and from your sleep. It feels like there's somebody sitting on their chest. It's very tight, and they can't wake up, like they're immobilized.
I actually, my father has gone through his whole life experiencing the hag off and on.
Now, of course, the differing element here, which is kind of creepy to me, is the idea you know, I mean, obviously you can sense it, but, you know, this thing trying to get into your mouth. Because a lot of what these different things, you know, seeing a different reflection in a mirror, and we'll get to this too, the fact that you can't get rid of the box, which is another, you know, a branch that is similar to Jason Haxton's experience with his box. But, you know, it to me, it almost sounds like it's trying very hard to get its hooks into you. And you know, so that's another thing for anybody else listening. If you could check those pictures on our website, and you know, if you can make out what it is, or you can get any ideas of what the box is, you know, be sure to let us know. And Ari, of course, will put you in contact with anyone who contacts us about it.
Okay.
Well, Ari, I'd like to ask, have you ever experienced any missing time?
No, the only thing is just sometimes it feels like the day it's not gonna end. I feel like it's just
As if
I don't know how to,
time slows down.
yeah, it feels like it's never gonna end.
Going back to the nightmares, I mean, have you discussed with your family, like, do they have the same kind of dreams as well, or is it, you know, is it a consistent theme throughout your family, or is it just nightmares in general?
It's mostly the one I told you about first. You know, like something is trying to get inside of them.
So,
they can't see.
So is the rest of your family having that dream as well?
If they come here.
Okay, so how about the immediate family members in your home?
Yes, I know my husband does. He is really concerned right now because, you know, we do have 2 kids, and they're all getting sick. They're all scared, and they're crying at night. They don't want to go to sleep. They don't want to be here.
So I guess that brings us to, you know, so you have tried to get rid of the box. You know, it's not it's not something that you've on purpose hung on to.
I've tried to get rid of it.
Going back to the well, actually, I mean, you mentioned something about your children here, that they, you know, all of a sudden started crying in the night, which is out of character for them. Mm-hmm. And that when you'd go to check on them, you know, you'd notice that they were having conversations with something. And when you'd ask them, you know, like who they're talking to, they'd respond with, "I can't tell you," or nothing. Like, did you ever try to you know, squeeze some more information out of them the next day, or you know, did you get any clues as to who they were communicating with?
Yes, I've asked them, and they just tell me, you know, not to worry, that everything's going to be fine, you know, that I worry too much. And I asked, well, who are you talking to? Is it a friend? Are you seeing something? You know, you need to explain to me. They just keep telling me nothing.
That's so. I mean, they're just very passive about the whole thing.
Yeah, like if it's, you know, like a normal thing.
So
and your children are younger?
Yes, 8 years old and 5.
Okay. So when we were emailing back and forth some time ago, and, you know, I passed this on to Jason Haxton, he gave us his thoughts on, you know, he identified some of the symbols. And then you took it, I believe it was to an old teacher or somebody for translation. Now, now at the last I had heard of it, you had the bottom line translated to, and I quote, "Evil spirit, I bind thee in the name of Jesus, and I render you," and that's as far as you had with, I believe there was 2 more words you needed translated. Did you ever get that finished?
No.
No?
Not yet.
Okay. So, some of the more recent bits of story that I heard on this, you have a friend who is a paranormal investigator.
Mm-hmm.
And the both of you use this spirit box called a P-7B7. I did a little bit of looking up. Like, I seen your video and stuff like that. So, this thing is used for picking up the voices of spirits. It basically scans through all these different reverse AM frequencies, and it seems to apply it to like a white noise to get, basically use it as a base to bring out a voice where there isn't one. Now, for anyone who's interested, I mean, Ari, you have this video online for people to find on YouTube. What could they type in, I guess, to bring that up if they wanted to go look at it?
We could also link it to this video if you like.
Yeah. Maybe that's the best way. Okay, so, Ari, could you tell us some of the things that you actually picked up on this device when you were recording your session there?
Yes. There was a lot of voices. One was telling me that there was a coin inside the box, which it sounds like there is. They said a lot of profanity, so I had to cut that out of the video. I asked if you were inside the box or in our home, and all I got was in. So I'm still confused on that one.
Okay. Now, you had some technical difficulties when you were trying to do this, and I'm no stranger to that myself. Can you explain some of the just out of the ordinary things that happened to your equipment when you were trying to record this?
Mm-hmm. The computer was shut down on its own. The lights would go off. And, when I would try to record with the microphone, it wouldn't turn on at all.
That's interesting. They do say that spirits have, some kind of connection to electricity. Like they can control
electromagnetic fields and computers. Ari, when you had the box translated or the words or whatever translated on the front of the box, did they tell you what language it was written in?
They said it was a little bit of Hebrew and Greek.
Interesting.
Actually, Jason Haxton said something. I thought there was Greek, but maybe I'm mistaken. I can't remember. But yeah, Jason Haxton identified a bit of it too, which I thought was interesting. Actually, hearkening back to the story of Jason Haxton's Dibbuk Box, again, you can't get rid of this box, and several times you've tried. So I mean, one of these times you had contacted a person named John Z from the Haunted Collector, and
yes, correct.
And he gave you his address, and you sent it off. And I mean, this thing returned 4 days later, I believe.
Yes.
And another thing that you tried was you had a friend. She paid you $500 for the box, and she was going to use it for a photography project. And she comes back a few days later, really upset, and cursing, and gave you back the box. And you said when you tried to give back the money, she didn't want any part of what's in your house and left. I mean, did you ever talk to her after? Did she just wash her hands of you?
I tried to, and I still try to this day, but she won't talk to me.
Did she ever elaborate on what it was that happened?
No, she was just scared. She was crying, and she was mad, and she started to curse at me.
But I mean, you had told her what, the history that you've been having with this box before she bought it, right?
Yes, I told her about our house and about the box, what we've been experiencing. And she just laughed, and she said, she still wanted it.
That's buyer beware, though. That's not.
Well, Ari, if you're still looking to get rid of the box afterwards, I would be willing to take it off your hands if you're looking to get rid of it.
Are you sure you want?
Yep, definitely.
Sure you want this?
Yep, definitely. I feel that it would be a great project for Effed Up Stories to attempt to I guess sanctify such a artifact or device.
That's assuming you can get it. It might just appear back.
I think it would be interesting to make the attempt nonetheless. So if you are willing, this is me on the air saying that I'm willing to receive the box and whatever may come along with it. What are your thoughts on that?
I just don't want you to hate me when when stuff
hate is such a strong word. I hate so very few things and people in this world. I would place no blame upon you. I'm well versed, I suppose, in the world of the occult as much as somebody can be, and while I understand the risks, I think it would be a interesting endeavor to undertake nonetheless.
Okay.
And I personally enjoy the idea, Ryan, that you would take it and tell me everything about it, so I get to experience it from a safe distance.
But of course, we can talk about the details afterwards. I'd really love love for you to continue your story. So has there been any other situations where you've we've attempted, or you've attempted, or it has been attempted to be destroyed, burned. You've attempted to send it away on several occasions.
Sell it.
Sell it. Has there been any other situations where it kind of found its way back into your life?
No, it's just weird because my friend, he told me that he could send it to a Jewish, like their church. I don't know what it's called. I don't want to say the wrong name.
Temple, I believe.
Yes, correct. And I feel like every time he tells me this, I feel like I'm giving away like a family member, as weird as it sounds.
Well, that's my thought again of it coming back and getting its hooks into you. Actually, my thought would be that the sooner you get rid of it, if you could, the better. Yeah. It's just simply because you're feeling that way on top of everything else.
And if it makes you feel any better, I don't have any kids.
There you go, Ryan. You could have a demon kid. So, going back to a couple of the interesting tidbits here, you told me that everyone that has been around this box has gotten boils and a high fever resulting in surgery. Yeah. Did this happen to you or someone in your family? What kind of surgery do they do to bring down a fever?
All they told me was that this was a surgery for the boils, and they said that they have to drain everything out. If not, the surgery won't go down.
Okay.
And that they could go into a coma.
Wow. So
they had to perform a surgery to drain the cysts or the boils.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, got you. Understood.
So how soon would this happen? Does this happen to people who's around the box a lot, or just somebody who comes over, they spend a bit of time, and then they get these boils?
It's mostly like if you come and visit, stay for a while, and you will end up leaving sick.
Okay. Now, you said when people visit longer than 30 minutes. They feel as though they have like a cold or flu, and you know, and they feel hot as if they're getting a fever, right? But their symptoms are, you know, they stop as soon as they leave.
Yes.
So were all these people afraid to come back to your house?
Yes. Now it's just like we talk on the phone, and if they want to see us, you know, like we'll have to go to them or we have to meet somewhere.
Did they ever tell you what they thought about the box?
I haven't shown them to all the people that come, just because I'm scared that it's going to do more harm to them if they see it. But the ones that have seen it, they just want me to get rid of it.
Okay, so going back to a story you told me earlier, on the 4th of July, you said your son was in the hospital and he kept screaming, and I quote, monsters. He wouldn't eat or drink or sleep, and essentially the hospital forced you to take your son to see a psychiatrist after he kept screaming at them, you know, I'm not dead. Which is strange, by the way. So a child psychiatrist came and spent a lot of time with him, and he or she ends up saying, he's fine. Give him medicine so he can catch up on his sleep, and everything, seemed fine at the time. But as soon as you brought him home, the symptoms flared up again.
He's still, it's bad.
So what's his symptoms and behavior like now? I mean, is he still screaming monsters? Is he, what's he doing right now?
He's really, like if you'll try to go, and talk to him, he'll just hit you like it's not even him anymore. Wow.
So you also mentioned that you tried to get 3 different churches nearby to bless your home, and all of them have declined. I have to say, on a personal note, I find that disgusting because, a church not helping. I thought the whole point of a church was, is that God helps, church helps. Jesus is about helping one another.
Have they ever given you any reason for declining on blessing your home?
One of them said that, their priest was on vacation and that he would come back on a certain day. And on that day, I kept calling and I showed up, and still they don't want to come.
In other words, they're fine with religion so long as they don't have to do much. No offense to religious people, but I mean, seriously, if that's what you're going to preach, you should be willing to take part in it. So, in the time that we spoke, you told me that you were going to talk to a rabbi and get his opinion, which you did, and you forwarded me his response, which is as follows. Good morning, Ari. You have an interesting artifact that looks like a box that someone may have used to keep their personal papers in or other items. It is not a locked box that you would find in a bank, and it is not like a strong box made of metal. This looks like something someone made or improvised. The lettering on the outside of the box by the locking piece does contain Hebrew letters, and I think Greek. The person could have been Greek or of Jewish descent. From the pictures you took, it does not look very old. It might be, but it doesn't look it. It must have been very well taken care of. Let me ask around, and I will call you at the number, and I'll blank that part out. Again, do not worry, there is no curse. However, I would strongly advise you that you do not break the wax seal open. The rose scent probably tells me that this may have belonged to a woman or a young girl that kept something special or personal in it. More than likely, very sentimental in nature, but nothing to be afraid of. If the activity and nightmares continue, it may be necessary to remove the box from your property. If this activity continues once the box is gone, it may be your house or a combination of both. Regardless, I will stay in touch and help you in any way I can. I will call you soon. The guy's name in the temple of Beth-El, whatever that is. So, I got a couple thoughts on that. On one hand, he's saying that it's not cursed, but on the other hand, he's saying do not break the wax seal, and he is also saying that you may have to remove the box from your property. So to me, this doesn't sound like the words of a man who believes the item is safe. did you explain to him that you had tried to get rid of the box?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What was his response to the fact that, the box came back, you couldn't destroy it?
That it was probably a mistake in the mail, and that's why it came back.
So it was
and
like,
then I told him about, that we tried to burn it, and like he just laughed a little and said everything was going to be fine.
maybe you should see if he'd be willing to hold on to box for a little bit. Maybe once he's close enough to it, he might change.
I had invited him to come, or if he wanted to meet, and
just
he
didn't want to
even answer that. No.
It sounds like it's something that's making him a little uncomfortable.
Mhm. And I haven't heard from him since.
So, is there anything else about this box that you'd like to share? Any like harrowing stories or like scary events that happened around this box?
Just the nightmares. They're really, really bad. I know my husband one time. I was trying to do some research on the computer and see if I could, find out more about the box. And he said something to me like, "Are you trying to be Jewish now?" I think he said. And I don't know why. It just made me so mad that he said that. And he started laughing at me. And I got the box, because I was going to leave the room. And when I held on to the box and I looked at him, it's like, he said that he had a bad headache and that it didn't stop until he left.
That's interesting. It all like I keep coming back to the idea. What do you think, Ryan? I mean, does it not sound like whatever this thing is trying to get her hooks or get its hooks into her?
Well, I mean, from everything you've described, in particular, the box or whatever's connected with the box appears to be have some special connection with you. I don't know. You never said that anyone else had any experiences where they seen themselves reflected differently in the mirror. Of course, there was that situation where you picked it up and it drained you. And you were the first person to find the box. That's correct, right?
Yes.
So I suppose it's possible that if there is a spirit or an entity connected with the box, that it has indeed imprinted on you in some way. And well, we can only guess at the desires of such a being or an entity. I guess it could be presumed that a bodiless intelligence may, desire to have flesh and blood once again. And I mean, it could be perhaps the nightmares and everything is a symptom of this, whatever it is, probing around and trying to find a way in. Not to get too personal, but is your family religious?
No, not really. I believe in God because I know, if there's bad, then there has to be good. But we don't go to church, we don't do none of that.
Well, I don't think you necessarily have to go to church to be religious. Having a belief system at all. I mean, a building is just a building, is my thoughts. Mm-hmm. Have you tried anything like, I know that people have tried like burning sage around their house and different things like that to try and cleanse it. Have you ever tried anything like that?
Yes.
And to no effect?
No, it just got worse.
I have to say, I really after reading Jason Haxton's book, that is what this sounds so similar to me about. It just sounds so similar
It's almost unmistakable. The parallels between the experiences are. I mean, they're tremendous in almost every way. There's a link there somewhere.
Now, of course, if you take, there was a section in the book where Kevin Mannis was speaking, and I'm hesitant to bring it up because he was very angry if that was him. That I had made a post on a forum somewhere, and he really didn't like part of it, and he came and anyway, it was one of my favorite parts that we ever did on the show. But anyway, part of what he said was, that there was more than one Dibbuk box. More than one was in existence. Now this is from the book.
I've seen several. Yeah, I've seen several programs with him since where he's presented 4 or 5 boxes on the show, and I've actually seen him sitting there with these boxes in the studio.
Now, I'm going to quote on the show, in case Kevin Mannis is listening, and it was the real Kevin Mannis that tracked my post down. This was in the book. I didn't make it up. You can read the book, okay? So anyway, so there's more than one box, and I believe that you have one of these things, and it most definitely sounds like it has something trapped in it. I don't think it's just a spirit, because I don't think a spirit has the power to manifest such phenomenon. A spirit might, people might see glimpses of them or something. I mean, even for stuff getting thrown around a room, I mean, that's often looked at as poltergeist activity, which would be, and that's entirely different. That's usually brought on by strong emotions from adolescent teenagers and stuff like that. Not the poltergeist activity being linked to many different types of paranormal. It's almost a symptom of paranormal events. Yeah, so I mean, what this sounds like, I mean, if it is something trapped in the box, if it was, it doesn't sound like the spirit of a person. To me, it sounds more like a demon. And of course, that's when they say Dibbuk, I mean, that was a name for a specific type of demon. Now, I don't mean to make this all doom and gloom either, because Jason Haxton, of course, his tale is probably the most well-known. And, I mean, he's safely got that, situated right now where it doesn't, I don't think it really affects him right now. Like, now he went through a lot of stuff to get that done. He had, at the last I heard, I believe he has it buried, and he also has it built into a special cabinet.
He had an ark. He had a special gold line ark made out of some type of blessed wood, and he had some, I believe it was Mennonites or something like that. Someone like that, woodworker, craft the box. And well, I mean, if that's what it would take, I mean, if I received this thing and it was indeed extremely haunted, I would have no problem going through that process of getting that done.
So I guess the uplifting part of this here is that I don't think that you're doomed, Ari. I think that perhaps there is a list of things that you may end up having to do. I mean, you can certainly. I mean, that's up to you and Ryan amongst yourselves, which you can discuss after the show here if you want to. If you want to send it off, but I mean, whether or not you do that or not, I think there is a list of things that may have to be done with the box in order to silence it once and for all. So, is there anything that you want to tell our audience? Like about the box, or anything that you want them to look for, or any help that they might be able to give?
Just if they know what it says, please let me know.
Okay.
I've gotten a lot of there's a lot of people that want to buy it, and I really am not looking to sell it. I just want it to stop. Like, whatever is doing this, all these things, I just wanted to go away.
Okay. And so for everybody out there, again, I'm going to put these pictures on the official site. By the time you hear this, it'll be up there. Go to effedupstories.com. That's EFFEDUPSTORIES.com. Go to the menu and go to the pics section. And that's where I will have these pictures listed and information for you to get in contact. And you'll be able to see what the box looks like, the symbols and everything else. And if anybody has any idea of what this is exactly, what the translation is, what should be done to get rid of it, certainly contact us. And with that said, Ari, I certainly hope that you get the help that you need. And thanks again for being a guest on our show. And for everyone else, if you have pictures, video, or stories on the paranormal, again, go to our site and submit it. We are planning on releasing a book sometime in the near future, and it's going to be a collection of all of our favorite submitted stories. So if you want to get in on that, now's the time to submit. And with that said, thanks for listening, and be sure to check back because we have more shows coming. This is Will signing out.
Have a great night, everybody.